Hey everybody, welcome again to another episode of the Cynical Marketers, episode 28. This week, we're talking about ghosting.
Our
And not the
favorite.
Scooby-Doo kind, to age myself, or the dating kind, although it kind of feels like that sometimes, that,
Yeah.
you know, that it's dating. But ghosting, communication, follow-up, how do you handle this stuff?
So an interesting trend has emerged, Mike, I feel like, in at least the last few years, because I've done and you've done consulting and fractional work for many years, right? And I think we're noticing more and more people just ignoring emails. People ignoring people, essentially, just ghosting you. Like, we had a situation, met with a client, discussed their needs, met in person, right? Discussed their needs, ran through our qualifying questions, talked about our process. Client seemed super excited. We sent over the proposal, silence. And then how many times do you follow up? And this has happened to us multiple times. And I never really understand why from a client perspective, because both of us have been on the client side many times, right? We've been the client. Never have I just not replied to somebody's email. Seems weird.
It's weird. I know, and it is a thing now, because this has happened, for the last several years. It's been an uptick of it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how people do it, because for me, like, when there's an email in my inbox, then that's the only thing in my brain now.
My anxiety
like,
kills me.
That person. Like, I know, like, I'm like, I have to reply to that person, and
immediately.
I can't just be like,
right.
Yeah, you're not worth it, and it's, and we're talking about this again, not even just like as our complaining, but we know that this is an issue too with a lot of businesses out there. And one of the things for us, we always battle with on the marketing side is because we try to not be annoying, but then, we go back and forth on that because we don't email daily, we're not blasting people and blowing everyone up, and we don't make outrageous claims, and we don't, say we're going to 100x your sales and then put you in some sort of a automated flow that's 3 emails a day. And, but then you're like, well, I know we don't really get any credit for not being annoying. It's just easier to ignore us then, I think,
right.
And
it's interesting to me because
our policy is three follow-ups, right?
Yep.
Like,
and that's a wrap.
Hey, we'll message you 3 different times, with a break in between, but like, I don't know, I don't chase.
Yeah. And that's not like when we do 3 follow-ups, you guys, we don't do them like, day 1 and then day 3 and then day 5. Like we understand, we work with small businesses. We are a small business. We understand what it takes to run your business and how busy you can be, and that something can slip for a couple of days. You maybe need somebody else to run something by. Cool. We will give you a week. We will give you 2 weeks. But at some point we also have to say like, okay, we're just going to take your silence as you're not interested, but you're not an adult enough to send us an email back to tell us you're not interested. And I hate it when people say, like, I think Mike, you had read this somewhere from somebody's CEO somewhere that said, if you're not closing 90% of the proposals you send out, like, you're doing it wrong. And I'm just like, who closes 90% of the proposals that they send out? Like, how deep in the proposal funnel are you at that rate? Because the things that we get and we hear constantly, and not just in our space, but like the clients that we work with and the vendors will not respond, and, different things like that. People are just getting ghosted. Like, somebody just doesn't want to deal with you. They will just ignore you. They will not even give you the courtesy of like, hey, thanks for the email. This isn't a right fit. This isn't the right time. This sucked. I don't want to work with you, whatever it is. They will instead just ignore you. And that never used to be the norm. It's hard.
I don't think so, but I blame the sales industry has killed everyone on this, right? Because you see all the guys out there, the sales gurus, and then all the trainings everyone gets. I think that people think if I reply to you, all this means is, okay, I will now enter into your objection. Which objection branch am I going into then for this person now to deal with your objection, your smoke screen, whatever it is that it's called in your sales training, you know? So if you say it's not the right time, and you can watch online, you can go find the sales gurus videos, you know, that guy's six-pack dude's like, if they say it's not the right time, here's what you come back with. And you're like, no, I don't want you coming back. I'm trying to turn you off. So I think for most people now, like, it's not even worth it. I'm just going to ignore you because I don't want to hear whatever your response is, because I'm really saying no. And I don't want you to try to overcome the objection. There's nothing for you to overcome. And if you reply, your sales manager is probably going to be like, did you reach out 7 more times? And did you tell them, you know, here's blah, blah, and blah. And we're at the end of the period. So if you're thinking about closing, we can offer a 20% discount. Like, I think people just want to avoid the salesy part.
Yeah.
And salespeople have done this to everybody, right?
Yeah.
And it's out there. You can watch all the sales videos online.
No.
The car salespeople are huge online.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting though, because like in our space specifically, I have been to clients so many times that has worked with different vendors, that has worked with different agencies. And I find it incredibly unprofessional not to respond. If you know somebody is awaiting your response, not respond, like, yes, sure, there's arguments about not responding is a response and behavior is a, language, and they're telling you no. But I just find it incredibly unprofessional to not respond and say no. You're an adult. This is a business situation. Speak your mind. Like, I find it, and this is the hard part, but I get that it's not personal. So I'm not like, oh my God, this person didn't like what we're offering, or didn't like me, or didn't like whatever. I don't take it personal in that way. But what I think about them is like, Jesus, would I even want to work with this person? Because if you can't respond to an email and you can't have a difficult conversation to say no, or this proposal you sent me is not the right fit for me, or whatever it is, right? If you can't have that conversation, then what the heck is it like working with you? Can you imagine?
Right. 'Cause I bet on their side, right, when they're dealing with their vendors and stuff, they want response. Yeah. Like, you got to be back on me, and I want to know what's going on, and with their employees, right?
Right. It's hard because it's like, and I mean, I think from our side and from the professional side, like, we think about it like, okay, how long did we take to respond? Were we timely? Did we send stuff that's digestible enough for somebody to be like, oh my God, don't send me like a 45-page PDF. I don't want to. Because I've been sent those from agencies as a client before. And I'm like, geez, like, what the heck are we looking at? But I think it's frustrating for me because I find it extremely unprofessional. Like, I don't know how else to take it. Like, I get that it's not personal and you are saying no, or you're saying no temporarily, but I don't want you even to come back like 6 months down the road and be like, oh, we're ready to work with you now. Like, okay, but you didn't even respond to me for 6 months. I don't want to work with you. I want at least common sense, like respect and courtesy. The ghosting in the professional world is insane to me.
If it's a cold outreach,
right,
I don't feel like I'm owed a response or anything. And
correct.
We don't do much cold outreach. We've only just started doing that.
Right.
Like, you're not owed, right? But like, you have a meeting. There was a meeting and like, we're figuring out what the parameters are, what it is you need, those kinds of things. Then it's like, man, you really like, what the hell did I do?
Or you've reached out to us.
Wow.
You've reached out to us to want to work with us, and we meet and we give you a proposal, and then we don't hear anything back. Or we meet to go over the proposal or whatever it is, and then you just ghost. I find that extreme, like, it's just a pain point to me at that point. And we've done this before. We will reach and follow up one time. We will wait another couple of weeks and follow up again. By the third time that we reach out, we are telling you we will not work with you. We are saying we're taking your silence as a no, and that's it. It's a wrap for us. We will not waste any more time because, it's at this point, you're already showing us that like our time isn't anything to be respected or valued. So, and not, it's so weird to me. It didn't used to be like this. I keep saying that it makes me feel old, but.
One of our clients is a home remodeling company, and one of their big things is and on their customer service side is speed of response in all categories. So, an inquiry, it's a current customer, somebody they used to work with, something they want to be back, because for them too, they say this shows our high level of care, concern, and professionalism, and that we are heavily focused on our customers, So we have people that we work with who totally believe in that. And I believe that too. You're showing people, and they feel too, they're like, hey, these people who might do a home remodeling project with us, they're potentially going to invest massive amounts of money with us.
Right.
If early on, when there's no money been exchanging hands, if we're not like keen to respond, or you're dealing with somebody who's not so fast on the response, is the relationship going to get better?
Right.
But you'll get faster.
No,
it's just a bad sign.
Yeah.
Like when I used to manage people, and when I used to be a restaurant manager, this was a thing I used to say too, like new employees when they came in, like when they had bad attitudes and stuff early on, you're like, oh, this is going to be awful, because it's not going to get better as they get more comfortable,
Yeah.
So it's a sign, really. And it's like, and it's hard. We're no different than everyone else. If there's a client out there who's saying they have money in their pocket and they would like to give it to somebody, we would like to get it. Right. I like to be able to pay bills.
Yes.
But also there's a thing of how much of a headache do you want to take on?
Right. I think it's an interesting perspective though, because I think, so speaking to marketers that are in our position, right, that we're all cynical and jaded. I think it's important to realize ghosting is not personal, right? It's not a reflection of you, the service that you provide, unless you took 3 weeks to send them a proposal, or you ghosted them first, or, you were slow on your side, then you need to kind of own that, right? But if you feel like you did all the things right, then you just have to remember, this is their indecision, their chaos. Small business owners especially, man, they are just dealing with a ton. They can't seem to get their stuff together, right? So, and there's
we deal primarily with small businesses.
Yeah.
And
it's impossible to sometimes even get them to get you a login to something or access to something. It's fair to follow up and give them a little bit of grace, and understand that it's not personal, but we do recommend, this is something we've done. And I think, Mike, to your point of people don't want to be sold. They don't want to get stuck in a loop with you of constantly trying to close them. But if you have to reach out 3 times and you never get a response, that 3rd time should just be we're out, it was good to meet you. Yeah, good to meet you. Done. Don't even say things like, when you are ready, reach out, because they will anyway, if that's where they're at. But then at that point, how long down the line is that? Would you even want to work with them if they didn't communicate with you for 3 months? That's not going to be a fun working relationship. So
how's it going to be getting them to pay an invoice?
Yeah,
they won't reply to an email.
Gosh,
they're going to pay your invoice.
Yeah,
they're going to approve, because then you're going to deal with too your creative and stuff. Well, we were waiting for 2 weeks on approval, and now they're saying, hey, we need this turned around. What's going to happen.
Yeah. And it's a mess. And I think from just a market, from professional marketers, standpoint, set your boundaries, set your limits early. Don't do anything out of desperation, because I've seen people do that as well. And it's just not cute or pretty in any
and small
way.
Businesses, if you're still here listening to this is why agencies don't like working with you.
Don't want to work with you. Yeah. You need to, if you're a person that cannot handle an uncomfortable email back to say to someone, no, how are you running your business? That's my question.
Right.
If you cannot take 10 seconds and respond, what is happening in your business that is dead? You're dead busy. You're not that busy. Have some respect for people, because here's the thing though, too. You never know if one of us that maybe is offering you marketing services and you don't want to work with us, we may know the next person that wants to come and work with you as a different type of vendor, as, I don't know, as anything else. We all, and especially the businesses we work in, we all network together. So don't be the guy that everybody is
also customers. We are customers and consumers too.
Yeah. That's an important thing to note. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marketers, it's not
So-
personal. Small business owners, send a freaking
It's
reply.
That's
It's
the
that
thing, small
simple.
business owners. We have chosen to focus on this niche because we feel that agencies tend to not. And these are the
Right.
reasons why. And so these are headaches we knew were going to exist when we
Right.
said we're going to try and work with this group that most agencies don't want to because they don't have massive budgets. And
Right.
the lower someone tends to pay in a monthly, it's an inverse relationship. Lower fee is usually higher PETA, your pain in the ass rating. They're inversely related. So that's why agencies like the 10K, 5K, 10K people, because they usually are just like, yeah, man, hey, look, I hired you, just get the stuff done.
Yeah.
We'll send you the check, just get the work done. But when we deal with small business owners, they're like, what are we doing in 5 minutes? And
Yeah.
what's the ROI on that? We posted 3 minutes ago. Have we made $1 million yet? Am I rich?
Yeah.
Am I rich now? Well, we hired you. We hired an agency. Why aren't I rich yet? You know, like,
Oh, we don't
So
work
we
with those
know
people anymore
the-
either, by the way. But yeah, it's on the
we
marketing
know
side.
the concerns, but this is Yeah.
It's really just
there you go.
small business owners reply.
the overall message, everybody. Be nice to everyone. I don't know.
Don't ghost people. Like, honestly,
I'm not
it's just
perfect.
common
I have
courtesy.
not replied to people. I have ghosted people that I shouldn't have, and I've done that too in the past. But trust me, with my ADHD, it weighs on me.
I was like, I don't
It's
think
not
that
like
that
you're
was
just out of sight, out of
necessarily
mind.
intentional, though. Like, I feel like,
It's in there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, all right, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in. Another quick hitter. We're
Yeah.
trying to not be so mouthy and wordy. So, thank you for tuning in. If you made it to this point, we always appreciate our fans who listen to us. If you got anything you want to hear about or any questions, send them our way. We'd love to know. We're also looking for guests. So,
Yeah.
if you want to talk marketing, small business, anything,
Anything.
we're looking for guests. So let us know if you'd like to be on a podcast. On the world's most mediocre podcast, you can get on it.
Hey, it's a brilliant podcast.
All right, everyone. Thank you. We'll talk to you next week. We'll see you.